Look, welcome everyone. I did not think I'd be back as soon as I was, but I'm gonna be no nonsense in the video today. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy called Nate the Hate, right? Oh, you haven't? Let me tell you a little bit about Nate the Hate, right? Nate the Hate is one of those insider leaker guys, right? But the thing about Nate is he has been around for quite some time now. If you have kept up to date with like Nintendo leaks from 2020 to 2022, or if you kept up with forums, you may know him as Nate Drake. But if you kept up with any of that stuff, then I guarantee you know how credible this guy is. Just like any leaker, he's been wrong before. But he was always the number one source for leaks of that era, and his batting rate was wild, right? Now recently, Nate has remained very low-key. He does his own podcast, and he basically is on cherry time because he only releases when he feels like there's stuff worthy of talking about. And besides that, he's just not really like a leaker guy anymore. He's not looking for attention. He's just kind of throwing crumbs out here and there and letting people do with it what they will, right? You may have also heard of Nate earlier this year, right? For being the source of the whole Xbox like initiative to move games to PS5 and Switch and just other platforms, and which caused like a huge uproar in the Xbox world, causing them to like hate spam Nate. People were breaking their Xboxes because they thought Xbox was like selling out or something. And anyway, Xbox had to come out, right, and do that huge podcast and basically announce to like the community that they weren't going to shut down the company. And that was really kind of insane. And anyway, Nate was more or less the spark of that, right? Because he said that there was a series of games coming to other platforms, and those of which he referred to as Grounded, Pentiment, and Hi-Fi, and Hi-Fi Rush, right? But there was a fourth one, and I just don't remember it right now. No matter how many Xbox people came out and said that that wasn't true and could never happen, and were like boycotting their own company, within 2 months, all those games were sporadically released and announced at like all different venues, right? So why are we talking about Nate the Hate right now? Because Nate the Hate has a new podcast episode, right? And he has got this co-host, Modern Vintage Gamer. Modern Vintage Gamer is also like a developer. He's like the lead developer of the Toomba remake. He works on like limited run games a lot, I think, like kind of remaking older games and remastering them. A lot of those Switch releases and stuff like that. He's worked on a ton of cool projects. But they are discussing predictions for Summer Games Fest and Xbox Showcase and just, I guess the whole Summer Games Fest in general. So I'm listening to it, and I noticed some Silksong art in the thumbnail and in the title, and I'm like, all right, wow, what is Nate going to say? So let's listen.
I agree. We'll get a trailer, we'll get a release date for the second half of this year, and some people will say, oh, get the clown makeup on. If you're expecting Silksong, get the clown makeup away.
Yep.
Silksong is going to show up.
I agree.
We're getting that release date, and everyone's going to celebrate, and there'll be just champagne bottles popping throughout the land. We finally have a release date. We've finally seen the game again. The bug is coming out of its cocoon. It's going to blossom. It's just a question of, are we getting a moth or are we getting a butterfly from this game?
Well, that's the difficult part, right? Like, we're all expecting.
Now look, this is all like a prediction he's making, right? But there's something like very performative about like this part of the podcast compared to other parts. And I don't want to make it sound too similar to the Jeff Keighley situation, but it kind of is too at the same time. So I'm sorry. They're just not usually speaking with certainty on like their other predictions. Now, do I believe that these guys have insider info with Team Cherry directly? I don't think exactly that, but like I do actually believe that like when you're days away from a release or an announcement that's like of this magnitude, there's bound to be things that are going to like be slipping out. The industry is going to kind of know, you know what I mean? Just like Jeff Keighley may potentially know the way he's blushing, just like Nintendo's gearing up. Like I really believe that like if we get announced on Sunday, like Nintendo's going to promote Silksong as well on Wednesday if they do their direct, or if they do the direct like 2 weeks from now. When this stuff is within like a week away, there's bound to be stuff that's start to leak out. Now it's out of Team Cherry's hands. You know what I mean? Like now it's things that like are going to be out of their control. But I also believe that Team Cherry has like enough respect between the industry and within developers and people who may catch like wins of these things, that like people don't want to ruin this. People know how big this is. So like no one wants, like no one who actually knows it wants to be that person to come out and like say it, unless they're like one of these leaker guys, which is interesting why this is like just kind of hidden as a prediction, but it's spoken of so certainly. And I just don't believe Nate is the type of person that would put this out into the air. Like, he would never speak on Silksong in general if he didn't have some sort of whiff of what's to come. I don't know. Cheers, everyone. These are the final days of coping. I'm saying it now. I'm sorry, but also it's probably like the end of my career as we know it, because I'm just a Silksong coper. Shout out all you guys that have been here for this. If you leave, that's fine. If you stay and if you're still watching this right now, just thank you so much, and I appreciate you all, and hope you guys all have a good one. Bye.